Okay, so we've created the scrolling background, and we've also created the craft, and we can see it when we play the game. The next thing, we want to create the graphical user interface, and it's going to be the start screen. So we go to GUI and we created a widget. So open that widget up. Now we know that by default the dotted line represents the entire screen, but we want to create a widget that matches the screen that we want for the game. So if we go to screen size, we don't need that. If we go to fill screen and go to custom, then we can put in the width, which is 360, and height, which is 640, and just click on the zoom to fit, and now that's our screen size. Now we need to make sure that this matches up. So if you look at the DPI scale and click on the configure, if you look at the DPI scaling rule and change that to scale to fit, and what that will do, it should scale the GUI screen to the size of the page. So we go back to the 2D shooter and go back to the GUI. We can start to populate this. So remember, compile and save as you're going along. So I'm just going to add some text. And we're going to call, well, I'm going to call my game Astro Blaster, and click on size to contents, and I'm just going to centralize that in there. And remember, this is going to be overlaid over the top of the game world. The spacecraft's going to be down here, and the starfield will be scrolling down. So we just want to add 2 more buttons. So, and I'm going to add some text, and obviously this is going to be the quit button, and we can make that a little bit smaller by going into the font and just making that a little bit smaller, let's say about 15, and then we can duplicate that button by right clicking on it and duplicate. It's created a new button. And I'll just change that, and instead of calling it start, I'm going to call it blast. Okay. Now the other thing that I wanted to put on here is I wanted to put the name of the person who created the game with a copyright symbol plus with this year's year on it. Now another thing is, oh, I just made a mistake there. Just Astro Blast. That's it. Also, we want to change the typeface so it looks a bit more futuristic. So we go back to 2D shooter, go back to contents, and I'm going to create another folder called type. In fact, we'll call it typeface. I'm just going to import typefaces that I've used. So remember, we can go to the default website and download true type fonts. So I'm just going to import the ones that I've already used. So I use one called Space Ranger, so I'll just import that in. And it comes up with this dialog which says, would you like to create a font asset? And say yes. So that's the Space Ranger one, and I've got another one, so I'm just going to import another one in. Import. And the other one was Space Age. And the reason why I've used Space Age as well as Space Range is Space Age, if you look at the font format in the font, it's actually got a copyright symbol in the font, so we could use that one. So I'll just save all those. So go back to the widget, Astro Blaster, and let's just change that. Instead of Roboto, which is the default font, we'll just go to Space Ranger. So now we've got a better looking font there. Okay. And same on here, we'll just change those to Space Ranger, not Space Ranger. And then down here, I'm going to add one more piece of text, but this time I'm going to put my name. And now this is an interesting one. We need to put the copyright symbol in. Now, that requires you to put in a certain numbers, if I can remember what it was. I'll get back to you on that one. I'll put 2022 in there, put that in there, and I'll just click on here. And then I'm going to use obviously a different typeface. So I'm going to put Space Age on there. Obviously it needs to be made a bit smaller. If you find problems with that, just put, it's a bit too small, so 18, 16, and then we can just centralize that. You can use the arrow keys on your keyboard just to position it in the right place. So we've got our typeface. Obviously we still need the copyright symbol in there. Okay, I'll just get that for you. Okay, so just putting the copyright symbol in. I forgot momentarily what that was. So you've got the flashing cursor in the text box, press Alt key, and on the numeric keypad put 0169 and release. And then you can see there it's detected that's a special symbol that's on the keyboard, which is the copyright symbol. And I put 2022 to finish it off. And obviously we need to reduce that down to 15. And then that's like nicely positioned inside there. So I compile and save that. So the next thing to do, like we've done before, is I'll just move that across a little bit. We want this to be on the screen, and we go through the same process. So we go to the blueprints and go to the level blueprint. So click on Open Level Blueprint, and we can start from the Event Begin node. Drag from the executable, type in create widget, and then select the widget which is called Start Menu WD, which we created before. And we need to say who's the owning player. So we get player controller. And then we now need to create a variable for this widget because we might want to display it or hide it. So if you right click on the return value and select promote to variable, it's created a variable for the menu, and on the left hand side, instead of calling it new variable 0, just call it start menu. And then finally we want to display this initially, so drag from the executable from the set start menu and add to viewport, and then connect that to the target. Might be a good idea to select all those nodes and then press C on the keyboard and just give it a comment. This displays the start game menu GUI, and compile and save. Let's see what that looks like. We click on play, and as you can see, it is being displayed, but it's in the wrong scale. So we're going to fix that. So we go back to the start menu, we save everything, and we go to the scale. Let's have a look. That's right. And just change the desired X and Y. So 360 by 640, and let's see what that looks like. And as you can see now, it's been stretched to fit the window. As you can see, we just need to tweak where the player starts from, or bring the text down, but that's okay at the moment. Okay, so that concludes setting up the start screen. The next video, we'll just go over how do we add a little bit more excitement to the start screen, including some music and some interaction with the buttons.